Welcome everybody to our Smarter Money 4-Day Challenge on how to take control of your money, your relationships and your business. This challenge is the perfect opportunity to learn from 4 spending planners in each of their areas of expertise. We're going to give you practical strategies that you can take away and implement immediately. Plus there'll be some worksheets and resources. We're all so excited to be presenting this challenge as the topics are extremely relevant in the current challenging times. Now, before we start, I hope you'll bear with us referring to notes as we go along, because we've got so much valuable information we want to share with you, and we don't want you to miss a single part of it. The irony is that between us, we have over 180 years of life experience under our belts, but we're novices at Facebook Live, so please just take any bloopers with a grain of salt, okay? Please remember to put your microphone on mute. Let me introduce you to our Smarter Money team. My name's Kim Donnelly, and I mainly work with families who are having difficulty keeping on top of their day-to-day finances, perhaps inadvertently spending more than they earn and living pay to pay. Often one of the partners works away. This in itself is hard on relationships, and I love seeing relationships flourish again after finances have been brought under control and the stress caused by constantly worrying about money has been eliminated. Next, we've got Carolyn Mose, the money lady, whose forte is helping struggling families to quickly get on top of debt.
Thanks, Kim. It really is an exciting day today. We're so happy to be here with you guys. So do you know what? Money is the #1 thing that couples argue about, and debt and money stress can unravel a relationship quicker than anything else. I'll be talking about debt, how to negotiate with your creditors, how to get out of debt and stay out of debt, how to create an action plan that shows you exactly how to manage your money and your day-to-day finances so that you can actually get what you want. Don't miss it. It's going to be great.
Thanks, Carolyn. We also have Marlene Schmidt from Insight Spending Planners. Marlene shows businesswomen how to successfully manage their business and their personal finances. Marlene, would you like to let everyone know when you're going to be speaking and give us a précis on your topic?
Sure, thanks, Kim. And I'm really excited to talk to those of you who are in business or perhaps thinking of starting one. Because in Australia, 60% of small businesses fail in the first 3 years, and 90% of those failures are due to cash management issues. There's always this juggle of money between the business and the personal finances. And I want to make sure that you don't risk your personal financial security with a great passion for your business. So I'd love for you to join me, and we'll be showing you the financial fundamentals you need to put in place when you start a business, how to work out how much money to pay yourself, and the key business numbers that you need to understand. You don't need to be a maths whiz or a qualified financial person, but there are a few things you need to know, and I'd love to help you with that.
Thanks, Marlene. And our guest speaker is going to be Kelly O'Brien, who's going to be providing us with a money perspective on life after becoming single again. Kelly herself's recently been in this situation, and she's going to be speaking about how to safely navigate the financial challenges of relationship breakdown. Kelly can't be with us today, but she's going to be talking about not sure you can afford to leave, how can you make it work, using buffers and contingency accounts, the importance of long-term savings, child support and expense management, whether you're paying or receiving, what you do now matters. So this is going to be an awesome session, so make sure you don't miss it. Our team are going to be in the background monitoring the chat, and we'll have Q&A time at the end. Okay, so during our challenge, each of us will be speaking for about half an hour, and at the end of each session, you'll be provided with some resources in the Facebook group, which will get you thinking outside the square. I'm our first speaker, and I'm now going to plunge right in. So let's get started. Are you and your partner on the same page with your money? If not, how can you get on the same page? I'm going to touch on 7 matters. What can we do to ensure we avoid our loving relationships being ruined by money stress? Managing money in a relationship as a couple. How do you manage money in your relationship once you decide to have a family? Wanting to give our children the best we can. The extra burden on relationships when one partner works away. What constitutes a healthy relationship around money? And sometimes it can all become too much. Debt and money stress often get in the way of people having a great relationship with their partner. When doing some research on relationships that fail, mainly due to money stress, I came across an interesting family law and divorce website with current statistics. The first statistic was that the average first marriage that ends in divorce lasts only about 8 years. This site showed the divorce rate for the top 20 countries in the world, and thankfully Australia isn't on it. It's really sad that so many marriages which start with so much love and promises of until death do us part, on average end after such a short number of years. But I'm encouraged by the fact that Australia isn't in that top 20 and that we in Australia want to do better at our relationships than everybody else. But sometimes the stress caused by money worries can cause a deepening rift that is too difficult to bridge. So that's why in this challenge, I'm going to provide plenty of insights into how to ensure that relationships remain strong. And one more statistic. Did you know that the second Monday in January is dubbed Divorce Day by legal professionals? Because that's the day of the year that they have the highest number of divorce applications. They believe this is because of the stress of the overwhelming costs at this time of year due to Christmas, holidays, kids, back to school costs, sport costs, overly high expectations, etc., etc. If there's constant friction in the relationship due to all these overwhelming costs and arguments start to cause a deepening rift, some people get to the point where they say, I don't want to play this game anymore, it's too hard, I'm out of here. My husband and I have been married for 35 years. Has it been easy? Not always. Have there been times when I could have run away? Yep, and there were a few times I actually did run away. Have we had communication problems, loss of connection and money issues? Most definitely. But I believe the one thing that has held us together for 35 years is commitment. We're both fully committed to this relationship, to making it work and respecting each other's opinions and giving each other space to grow as individuals. So even though I did run away for a few times, it gave me time to clear my head and think about what was most important to me. And that is our relationship and the lives that we've built together. Relationships are hard, but I believe that they're well worth it and they're worth fighting for. So what can we do to ensure that we and Australia stay out of that top 20 and avoid our loving relationships being ruined by money stress? When we enter into a relationship, everything's rosy and we believe that we're going to be together in this romantic phase forever. But life and problems get in the way. And even the best of relationships can feel the pressure and worry when constant bills keep coming at us and there isn't enough money to go around. Studies which have focused on long-term marriages or relationships tend to cite the following elements as essential criteria for successful relationships: a great respect for one another and a mutual sense of appreciation, trust and faithfulness, physical closeness and sexual relations, strong communication skills and the ability to discuss problems openly, common values and goals and shared meaning, supportiveness for each other, the ability to cooperate, and flexibility in times of transition. Statistics also show that the main reasons that relationships fail are communication problems, loss of connection, and money issues. Think back to when you first got together as a couple. Did you discuss with one another your individual dreams for your life? Were you on the same page? Or did you have totally different dreams? Or did you discuss your future together at all? Many people don't. And then they find that they're going in totally different directions in life and losing that initial strong bond that brought them together. For example, the man may have wanted to have children in the next couple of years, but his partner might be younger and may have wanted to work another 5 to 10 years in order to firstly buy a home together and have a good percentage of it paid off before having children. Both have clashing main goals. However, with some give and take, both parties can feel that their needs have been met while also meeting their partner's needs. Now you've been together some years. Are you on the same page as your partner with regard to life goals as a couple? You can both have differing smaller goals so long as your main goal is similar. Now, you may believe that your relationship is strong and there are no problems around money. However, even if you take just one snippet away from today's chat and agree that it could strengthen your relationship with one another and with money, it'll be well worth your while. Now, on to my next topic. Managing money in your relationship as a couple. Let me ask you a question. How do you currently manage the money that you both bring into the family unit? I believe it is simpler to have a joint single account where all income goes and all expenses come from. However, you can also keep your bank accounts separate so long as each contributes a fair share toward joint costs, depending on individual circumstances, of course. Let me ask you another question. How do you manage money in your relationship once you decide to have a family? Things, of course, will change when there's a new baby on the scene. Having a child was a decision that both of you made, so one of you, and it doesn't have to be the mother, needs to remain at home with the baby for some months, while the other partner takes on the main responsibility of breadwinner. That doesn't mean that the stay-at-home person has any less say or any less money, as you've both chosen together to start a family, and the only way it can happen is for one to temporarily give up earning income until the children are older. But this can often become a huge sticking point in the relationship if each has separate accounts, and if one is on a large income and spends the majority, mainly on themselves, while the partner is the home and child carer with little or no income of their own while at home caring for the newborn. Nothing destroys a relationship faster than one person feeling that they aren't valued on the same level. Let me share a story of a client. The husband works full-time and earns a good income. His wife runs a small business that she's slowly building up, and she's responsible for being there for the children before and after school and taking them to their various activities. She brings in about a quarter of what he brings into the household. He believes that he has the right to spend more money as he brings in more, and he doesn't understand why she gets agitated when he questions her spending, even when the majority of her spending is on household items and things for the children. She would just love to have her own money where she can spend without guilt and not be questioned by her husband. It's important to sit down together before you even decide to get pregnant and discuss equitable income disbursement so that you are both on the same page and both know and understand how the other feels. The stay-at-home parent may be used to being independent with money and can feel that they no longer have the same rights as the main income earner when it comes to making decisions about the family finances if they're not bringing in the same income while home. By the way, the breadwinner partner may not think this at all, but reassurance still needs to be given to the stay-at-home partner. As having children was a joint decision, then so too should every financial decision be made by entering into respectful joint discussion, joint access to all family income, and coming to a resolution together on how to spend that family income. Two heads are always better than one. This is in fact critical for a healthy relationship. And if there is money stress, too often we also see another pattern emerging. The main income earner, whether that's male or female, feels that they have the sole majority of the responsibility for earning enough to be able to fully support their family. To ask for help when finances are overstretched is something they find difficult to do, and they can't see a solution to getting back on track. This is incorrectly seen by some people as a failure on their part, but it isn't a failure. None of us were taught at school how to be successful at managing our money, and the more debts we have, the more complicated handling our money well becomes. Carolyn's going to be talking about debt in more detail during her session on day 2, and about how debt and money worries can destroy a relationship faster than anything else. Carolyn's got some incredible stories about clients whose relationships were almost on the rocks, but she was able to quickly help them turn their finances around. They've not only rapidly gotten on top of large debts, but they've also achieved their dream goals. It's simply amazing. My next segment is on taking time out. Taking regular time out to discuss financial matters with a promise to respect one another with no raised voices and always give fair consideration to the other's point of view will usually result in a successful way forward. Sometimes that might mean asking a professional for a little help to quickly get on track. Paying someone to help you save money might seem contradictory, but believe me, the rewards are high when people see where they were going wrong and see how to fix their cash flow problems. Nobody wins a gold medal without a coach. If you want to lose weight, you go to Jenny Craig. Any professional athlete who truly wants to win has a sporting coach to point out their bad habits that are hindering their ability to perform at a peak level and to teach correct techniques. Life coaches train people in how to identify and focus primarily on their goals and change their mindset and eliminate habits that are holding them back from getting ahead. As wealth coaches, we utilise a combination of all these coaching methods to quickly get people back on track with their money. So now let's talk about children and wanting to give our children the best we can. When children get older, we all want to give our children the best that we possibly can in life. This often entails involvement in at least 2 or 3 activities per week per child, and not necessarily the same activities. This can be extremely draining on the family finances, and yet I've also found that very few parents will consider dropping any activities to help make ends meet, even if it means they can't pay the next electricity bill or the next house payment or the school fees. Sometimes this is guilt. Sometimes it's simply not wanting our children to know that we're struggling. Or sometimes it's a subliminal message we are sending ourselves that we perhaps had to do without when we were children, and we will never do this to our own children, no matter what the cost. But if the cost is continual disagreements about how the family's money should be spent, or being so stressed that we can't sleep at night, worried about how to pay for that electricity bill, or the private school fees, or even if there will be enough money to pay for groceries this week, then the cost is too high. Something has to give, and we don't want it to be the relationship. Is it the end of the world if your child misses 1 term of dancing lessons or gymnastics? No. Do they have to go to private school? No, not if it's going to mean that the bank repossesses your new car or even your house. There are many quality public schools that cater for and have exceptional extracurricular activities. And honestly, if your child is intelligent, they'll do just as well at a public school as a private school. If a child is not going to perform well at school, they'll misbehave just as much in a private school as a public one, I can tell you. Children are amazingly resilient, and they're also more intelligent than we often give them credit for. As I said earlier, we all want to give our children the very best that we can, and we want to protect them from all the bad stuff. But sometimes in doing this, we can create a little person with very little understanding of real life and the struggles that we all face. So when they do come across challenges in life over money, they won't have any mechanisms in place to be able to deal with them. On this note, let me share another story with you. These parents have two young boys, aged 10 and 7. When they were born, both parents vowed that they would give them everything they could, every opportunity, and everything that they needed or wanted. The oldest boy, let's call him John, comes to his mum one day and says, "I need a new tyre for my bike." Mum, who's already stressed about money and has just had a heated argument with Dad about how they can't afford to shop for food that week, responds with, "I just bought you a new tyre 2 weeks ago for $50. Why do you need another one?" John replies, "Well, I did a burnout, Mum, and I wrecked it, so I need another one." Dad at this point explodes and he calls his son a selfish brat who's got no idea how hard he works. And money doesn't grow on trees, you know. And how dare he always be asking for something? I'm sure you can imagine how the conversation went. The problem here is that these parents have always provided everything for their children. John's not necessarily selfish. He has a need and he believes that all he has to do is ask and he will receive. He has no idea of the money stress that his parents are under because his parents have never shared this with him. And I understand the reasons why. Because we want to protect our children from all the bad stuff. But at some point, we need to start involving our children in those family conversations. At age 10, John is capable of understanding that sometimes life is tough and sometimes we can't have everything that we want or even need. Debt and money stress often get in the way of people having a great relationship, not only with their spouse and partner, but also with their children. Now I'm going to touch on the extra burden on relationships when one partner works away. It's hard enough to juggle all the day-to-day family expenses when both parents live and work in the same town. But it's even harder when one of the couple works away, such as for FIFO and drive-in, drive-out mining families. The man comes home from each away roster, and before he can even start to think rationally again, he's got to catch up on his sleep, especially if he was working night shift. If the wheels have fallen off while he was away, that problem often just has to wait, because without proper sleep, he's not making sound decisions and he could implement something that could end up biting him on the butt. For example, the washing machine might have flooded the laundry and half the house while he was away. The family need that washing machine operating to keep on top of all the daily washing. But if he tries to fix it straight after returning home when he's exhausted, he might just compound the problem and make it worse. His partner, who's at home on her own, is often trying to juggle managing to live within the household budget, getting the kids to and from school and sport, working part-time, taking off time when the kids are sick, and likely has to deal with all the handyman jobs and repair bills on her own. She can't ring a partner while he's at work, so she sometimes has to make on-the-spot decisions, which her partner may not always agree with. And she simply can't do without that washing machine. So sometimes the decision has to be made to call in the repairman or even buy another machine without asking him. So how do people successfully manage their household and their finances when they're living this harder than normal lifestyle? Firstly, they need to communicate well. They need to discuss how they would manage this type of scenario and have contingency plans in place with their money to cover this type of eventuality. My next segment is, what constitutes a healthy relationship with our partner around money? Have open conversations with your partner. Don't shut them out or disregard their opinions because you believe that you're the only one who can make the right decision in the family. A healthy relationship is where decisions are made by both parties, not just by one. I understand that one may feel that they need to be strong for the family, but there's no need to do it alone. That's part of the reason why you initially formed a loving relationship, to support one another in the good times and in the not so good. If a couple are experiencing money worries, but they're communicating healthily and well, I've found that they come to see me as a united couple who've made a joint decision that something needs to change. And they're on the same page about seeking the help that they need to quickly regain control of their finances. The husband will usually say things like, I just want to know what we need to do to get our finances on track, because I want my partner to stop having to stress about the shortage of money all the time so she can be happy again. Or, I want the woman I married back, the bubbly, fun-loving partner who's my soulmate. She's so stressed that it's affecting her health, and I don't want that for her anymore. Both partners will discuss their finances together, and although there is a little light-hearted banter about she spent X dollars on her hair, or he's just been on a fishing trip with his mates, there's no nastiness about it, as each understands that their partner needs their own special, separate things to spend money on. They don't need to cost much. Let me tell you a story. I had a lady come to see me who admitted later that she had hit rock bottom. She was in charge of managing their money. Her husband earned good money working out at the mines. His hobby was building custom cars, so he often had to make some big purchases. He had no idea that she was really struggling with being able to pay all their bills. She felt like a failure at managing their money, so she never told him they were actually heading for dire straits. One day he asked her for a large amount of money for the custom car, and she was too scared to tell him that there was no money available. She was already struggling to pay just their regular bills, and she was often robbing Peter to pay Paul. She didn't know what else to do, so she sold some shares that he held without telling him, so he could continue building his custom car. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. She knew she had done wrong, and that doing so might destroy the trust in their marriage. She knew she had to find a way to fix this, although she had no idea where to start. When a family member told her about how much I had helped them to go from considerable money stress to having everything fully under control in a very short period of time, she came to see me. We created a plan for their spending, which showed her exactly where they were overspending and how to fix this mess that they were in. It meant they would immediately be able to take back control of their finances and get back on track. She drove home so excited, and she did 3 things as soon as she got home. 1, she confessed to her husband what she'd done and that she'd felt she had no other choice because they'd never had open communication around their money, and she felt that she had to carry the weight of their finances on their own. 2, she showed him that she now had an excellent spending plan that would quickly get them back on track. And 3, she promised that from now on she would be completely open and honest with him. And they agreed that from now on they would regularly discuss their finances as a team, with respect to one another's views, and make money decisions together. Luckily, they've always had a great relationship. He wasn't happy that she'd sold his shares, but once she explained that she felt she couldn't refuse him the money that he needed for his passion because he worked so hard providing for their family, and explained that she'd felt trapped and didn't know where else to find the money, he understood the fault was not solely on her shoulders. They'd never discussed their finances together. He admitted he hadn't wanted any of that large responsibility of managing all of their commitments, so he was more than happy to leave it solely to her. But this did not constitute a healthy relationship, as the whole burden was on one person only. Both have learned from this experience, and now they discuss their money on a regular basis, and they're on the same page. Sometimes it can all become too much. Debt and money stress often gets in the way of people having a great relationship with their spouse. Despite all the love that there may originally have been between a couple, Sometimes it seems that the easiest thing to do is to give up on a relationship when there are constant arguments about money and there's little or no fun anymore. And people believe there's no way out of their worsening money situation. This can be exacerbated when one partner refuses to discuss the problems in a safe environment and refuses to ask for assistance, believing that the responsibility for the family being able to turn their situation around is all on their shoulders, and all they have to do is spend less. So how do you turn a situation around when it all seems impossible? This isn't as simple as it sounds when you don't know where all the money is going in the first place. No matter how hard they try, every time payday comes around, there's still nothing left. Often not even enough to pay the never-ending bills that arrive in the mail, let alone saving for their goals. So do you remain on the treadmill, constantly missing out on opportunities because you can't seem to get on top of the bills, the loans, arrears and credit card debts? Do you wait until you're really in dire straits before reaching out for help? The thing I love the most about being a financial wealth coach come spending planner is seeing relationships restored after money stress disappears and couples happily working together for a common goal. Usually by our third meeting, when people have a plan in place for their money, I'm always delighted when I see couples laughing and flirting with one another again. They can see in their plan that their future is going to be just fine. Romance is returning to their relationships, which is a great pleasure to see. All the money stress has been removed and they can both simply be their fun-loving selves again. Happy mum and dad equals happy kids equals happy family equals secure future. But sometimes a relationship has already completely broken down by the time people come to us for assistance, and the person is attempting to learn how to manage all expenses on their own again. Kelly from Money Chief will speak about how to safely navigate the financial challenges of relationship breakdown. Okay, later this week, we're going to be looking at the value of having a plan in place for your money. The software that we use with our clients is unique in that it will give you your missing number. What is your missing number? The software we use looks into the future and enables people to find the worst day of the next 12 months when several bills all arrive at the same time and there isn't enough money in the bank to pay those bills. This software shows the exact date of that worst day and the exact amount that people will be short. From there, they can rewind back to the present and create a plan for their spending that keeps them from crashing financially when that worst day arrives. And this is why no other software will give you what you need. There are so many tools and systems out there that people grab onto to try and manage their finances, and the problem is none of them work. During this week, we're going to be sharing a ton of resources with you, along with some exercises that you can do, which will enable you to move forward in your financial journey and start living life on your terms. Today's exercise resource. Identify common family goals. Although you're probably a couple who have a strong relationship and communicate really well, and both parties believe that their views and concerns are respected and listened to, I would like you to sit down together tonight in a quiet place with no distractions and have a conversation together about 4 things. 1, 3 common family goals that you both want to achieve. 2, when do you want to achieve them by? 3, what you need to do to achieve those goals. And 4, one smaller dream goal each of you have perhaps never told the other one about. Having regular, honest, open discussions with one another where both can safely discuss what is truly in their hearts with mutual respect from their partner's opinions is a major step in having a healthy relationship and ensuring that your money stays on track. So where are you right now? Where do you really want to go? Why do you want it? And what capabilities do you need to arrive at that destination? The resource sheet for this exercise can be found in guides within our Facebook group, as can all resources during the challenge. Please make sure that you do join the group so you can access these resources. I'd like to thank you for listening today. We've got 2 awesome sessions tomorrow. Caroline's topic is titled Till Debt Us Do Part, and it will provide you with some incredible insights into how to get your finances back on track. Kelly will be speaking about how to safely navigate the financial challenges of relationship breakdown. We look forward to seeing you there. Questions? Thank you, everybody.
Great information, Kim. It was a really great session.
Kim.
Yeah.
It's all right. It was a pleasure to be here and just letting everybody know just how these issues come up in everybody's lives and how to deal with them so that you can move forward and be successful with your money.
Absolutely. Yep. And I can't wait till tomorrow when we're going to talk a little bit more about relationships and debt and how debt can actually affect relationships. It's going to be pretty powerful as well. So it's going to be an awesome week. We're really excited to have you guys in the challenge, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.